how important is wrapping?
Wrapping your baby is important at first. When they're little, they have lots of reflexes that they don't have any control over at all. And, you know, you've seen yourself that their arms will fling out, and the reflexes tend to get a little bit more pronounced when they're tired. So it's really good to sort of enclose your baby a little bit, not mummify them with their hands really straight down by their side, but wrap them so that their hands are up, often so that they can get their fists to their mouth if they want, but just so you're confining their arms so that the top part of their arms are sort of down and cosy. And the wrap doesn't have to be really tight, as I said. You don't have to do it really tight, just so that they feel comfy and able to go. Look, some babies don't mind their arms down over their tummy like that, but some babies like them up. So it's good to find out what your baby likes. But wrapping is nice for young babies because it does keep them nice and secure and contained. As they get older and they have more control over their body, wrapping may still be useful because they're used to it and they find it comfortable. So you can still wrap, but do it more loosely. But once your baby's starting to move around and roll around, then wrapping needs to stop because they can get tangled up in it. And by then too, they don't really need to be wrapped because their body's under their own control. And so it's not so important. Some people say that their babies don't like wrapping, that they fight it. And that can be true. But sometimes it's just better to sort of get them used to it because they've still got all those reflexes. And if we can gently do it, making sure those babies that don't like it keep their hands up like this, and they'll probably get, you know, more comfy that way. So it is, once again, it's about finding out what works best for your baby because, as I keep saying, all babies have their own personalities right from birth, and their likes and dislikes. And so our job as mums is to figure that out, figure out what who our baby is and what they like and don't like, and help them out. If they're crying, we respond to them quickly. And what we know from research is that the quicker you respond to a baby in the first 6 months, the less crying you get in the second 6 months. So you're not spoiling your baby by holding them and picking them up and giving them all the attention they want. That's a myth. And that myth came from the way we cared for babies in the early 20th century. Back in the early 20th century, people used to think that if you picked a baby up, you'd spoil them. But what we know now is it's quite the opposite. The more you pick them up and the more you cuddle them, particularly when they're crying, the more settled they become and the more able they are to manage their feelings and their emotions. And so they tend to cry less.
I find that with wrapping, if she likes her arms wrapped down, and if she manages to wiggle out and get her hands up, she'll just wake herself up.
Yeah.
So I'll have to re-wrap her and she'll go back to sleep.
And that's what I mean by each baby being different. Some babies, you know, they just like their hands down here. And I can see that's where she's got hers. And some babies don't. They like them up. So it's really about what's your baby like? What do they enjoy doing? And I can see that Thomas he loves sucking on his fists and he loves to do lots of things with his mouth. And some babies do enjoy more mouthing and sucking and using their mouth. And you go with that. There's no harm in that. That's the way they enjoy things. And at first, that's how babies discover the world, through their mouth, because their mouth's very sensitive. So that's why they put things in their mouth. They taste them and feel them, because their hands don't work. They can't touch and feel and pick things up, not for a long time. So that's why at that beginning they use their mouth.